So it seems as though Killua is the only one that treats Alluka like an actual person out of the entire Zoldyck family. I mean, all of them just act like if this is just some wildebeest, we gotta treat it on a fucking leash, you know, at arm's length. Meanwhile, he's the only one that's actually being decent to the kid, and definitely something can come out of that, because at the end of the day, if everyone treats somebody like shit, and that particular person is just like, God damn, why is everyone treating me like shit? But one person is nice, maybe that can change the mold. And in this episode, is definitely a lot of the focus is on the rules. Like, in the beginning of this episode, we get a lot of recap as to what are the rules regarding Alluka and some of the things that's happened with Alluka based on Illumi telling Hisoka and them kind of back and forth going regarding just Alluka and everything. But it's definitely a big mystery regarding Alluka in general, because at the end of the day, the way they talk is as if this is just some magical being that is very scary, so to speak. And they were focusing a lot, like a lot of this episode definitely was going recap. We got like, I think, 2 recaps on Alluka and just kind of like what she's done in the past or what he's done in the past. So I confuse all the time between saying he or she, because Killua calls Alluka a girl and Alluka looks kind of like a girl, but then everyone else calls him a he, and that's Togashi's little weird thing that he likes to do once in a while. And I'd imagine for anybody that hadn't read the manga, that initial scene where she says, "Let me kill you," and like blows off his head seemingly, people were probably just like stunned at like what the fuck happened. Like, oh my god, did Killua just die? I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, it's a main hero, so I don't think that would necessarily happen like that. It's Hunter x Hunter, but let's be realistic here. It's a story at the same time. So overall, that was very interesting as well, because if the rule is correct, you know, like you're supposed to obey the wishes of this little kid. If not, you get fucked over. But it's kind of as if he tricked her into thinking that, okay, yeah, you got your wish, I'm dead, and then kind of got back up and played it off as a joke. Maybe a big part of the thing is that a lot of the things that this Alluka is requesting is basically something that you gotta return in maybe like some sort of way that he thinks or she thinks that it's being delivered, but at the same time you can turn it into a joking way, because at the end of the day this is a kid. So maybe if you do it in a way that is acceptable, in a joking way, maybe you can get away with it. Or maybe it's just because it's Killua, it's the only person that treats this kid with any sort of respect or, you know, kindness. So it's very questionable regarding the rules of what's like some cracks and some little ways of you can get around them. But ultimately this episode is just really displaying Alluka is a force not to be fucked with. A lot of talk within the elections, and kind of this episode was building a little bit more up to Pariston just being somewhat of a dick. At the same time, again, you got to trust Netero that he chose this guy for a particular reason, but Cheadle absolutely hates Pariston. So if Cheadle hates him, then he's definitely somewhat of a dick, and ultimately you can't completely trust him. I mean, Netero chose him, but Netero at the end of the day was a good dude, so maybe he saw past some of these things and maybe thought, well, this Pariston guy, while he might have some flaws, maybe ultimately he's a good guy. Maybe Netero made the wrong choice, maybe he made the right choice. Cheadle fucking hates him, so we're getting a little bit more. At the very least, he's obnoxious. But hands down, the best and most important parts of the episode was the Killua and Alluka stuff, kind of staring down Silva through the camera, because Silva just looks there like he is like dead on, spot on, like this is some serious shit. Like Alluka, I honestly think Silver, to a small degree, fears Alluka's power, because at the end of the day, the things that Alluka has done in the past, the magical things that's happened because of this kid, I think Silver is genuinely a little bit small, because this is a beast of a man, at the same time, very small, possibly frightened of this kid. Although it would have been funny when he was staring down the entire time. What if his mind was on something completely different? Gee, I wonder if my wife is going to wear that thong tonight. And Killua's mom is just such a fucking psycho. We've seen it in the past, and we've seen it again. He's threatening, okay, if we, in 30 minutes we're not off this thing, Alluka's gonna kill you guys. And he, you know, he set it up, which, by the way, creepy fucking shit, when Alluka goes from this nice Oni-chan to those black eyes. It's like, it's almost like a different person is inside of there. And even Killua described a little bit, so we got a little bit more characterization of Alluka's character, as if there's 2 different people inside of Alluka's mind or inside of Alluka's body. And when he just laid down that threat and the mom was just proud of him, I was just thinking, like, the Zoldyck family is so fucking screwed up. You got the brother there that he's just such a fucking dickwad. He's like, yeah, no, I always use the butlers as, like, pawn so that way he never asks you guys of anything. And that also makes me wonder, Alluka never really asked Silva and the mom for anything. Could that be because Killua and the brother have been using butlers this entire time? Or maybe it's that Alluka's not that bad and he thinks, these are my parents. I don't want to do anything to them like that. And overall, the big progression we got with this episode is that Killua and Alluka are now heading towards Gon to possibly heal him. And overall, it was a decent episode. A lot of recap and kind of specifying things about Alluka, so definitely you can see that Alluka is going to be very important to this arc, and it was just kind of like going back, like I think again we got like 2 different recaps regarding Alluka and just some of the things that he's done or she's done. Again, I float back and forth with it. I don't know what the fuck to say. We'll stick with he for now. But overall, it was a fine one. Definitely the good progression we got is that Killua and Alluka are out the door. They're out of the Zoldyck mansion and headed towards Gon to heal him. So I'm going to give this one like a 6, 6.5 around there. It was fine. Maybe 6 sounds about right. It was fine. Definitely the best thing we got was progression, but a lot of recap and kind of just dialogue of things we already know. But let me know what you guys think. First of all, do you think that it's that Killua has treated Alluka so well that maybe he can kind of go around some of these rules, and like that's why when he faked his death right there, it was acceptable enough because he treats Alluka so nice? And ultimately, how do you feel about Pariston right now? Do you think he's a dick? Do you not trust him? Do you think Netero made a mistake? And just your overall thoughts of the episode. Again, do you feel like Alluka is just something that should be locked away? Or do you feel a little bit along the lines of Killua, at the end of the day, this is a kid, this is his little sibling, and you should treat him a little bit nicer? But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, you can do so as well. That'd be awesome. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.